guys, I'm here to bring you today my TBR for the Middle Grade May Reads Read-a-thon, which is run by Akoss from Middle Grade Lit Cheerleader and her co-host Patti from I Smell Books. This is the second year that they've put on this read-a-thon. I participated the first year, which was last year, and I had a whole lot of fun, so I'm super excited to participate again this year. This year it is running from the 20th to the 27th of May, so it starts this Friday, and I am super excited to participate and to show you what books I am hoping to read during that time. So this is a super chill, laid-back read-a-thon. There are no challenges or anything that you need to complete. It's just read as many middle grade books as you would like during the week of the read-a-thon. That can be 1 or 2, or it can be, 15 or 20, however many you are able to fit into the time and you feel like reading during that time. So it's a really great read-a-thon. It's a really great way to get some middle grade into your reading life, whether you enjoy reading middle grade on a regular basis or you just do it occasionally. This is a great way to get more of it in your life, which is an awesome thing, I think. There is a Goodreads group for the read-a-thon, which I will link down below, as well as the TBR videos of both Akoss and Patti. They have already posted their TBR, so I'll be sure to link those videos down below for you, and if you haven't checked those videos out or checked their channels out, you should definitely do that. They're both lovely ladies, and you should go subscribe to them if you haven't already. And without further ado, let's get into my TBR. So I have a rather ambitious stack, at least for me, of 7 books here. I know that I will most likely not get to all of them during the week of the read-a-thon, but these are just the ones that I'm feeling most in the mood for, and I wanted to have a kind of large stack to pick from, just because I'm very much a mood reader, so I wanted to have a varied stack that I could choose books from. And this is also kind of a sneak peek into some upcoming hauls of mine, because I've accumulated quite a lot of new books, and a good portion of those are middle grade books. So I am very excited to get to them, and have been for a while, and have been saving them for this read-a-thon. One of those new books is on the top of my stack here, and that is Aesop Secret by Claudia White. I first saw this on Acacia's channel from Acacia Ives. I'll link her channel down below as well. She's awesome. You should definitely go check her out if you haven't already. And first I was drawn to this by the cover, obviously, because I just think that's awesome and weird and really, really cool. And then I read the synopsis for it, and the story sounded just as cool as the cover looks. So this is about Melinda Hutton, who is a normal 10-year-old whose life is ordinary, even boring, until the day she turns into a horse. So if that's not enough to grab your attention and make you want to read the story, I don't know what is. The story seems to incorporate a lot of mythology, which I find really interesting. It just seems to be kind of a mystery about Melinda finding out how her family is connected to all of these myths and legends, and I believe it's the first book in a trilogy, so if I like this one, I will definitely be picking up the other 2, which, by the way, I've already looked at, and the covers are just as gorgeous as this one, so that's super exciting. So yeah, hopefully I'll be able to get to this during the week of the read-a-thon. It's pretty short. I think it's only, ooh, the spine is really great too. I think it's only about 150 pages, so hopefully I'll be able to get to this one. The next thing I have is another Kate DiCamillo book, which I am sure is a surprise to no one. And this is The Magician's Elephant. I have never read this one before, so this would be this and one other book of hers, The Tiger Rising, are the last 2 that I have to read before I've read all of her novels, including the one that she just released, which I'll talk about in my April wrap-up, which will be coming soon to you, hopefully. I'm super intrigued about this one, which, as I would read anything that she wrote, obviously, but this one has kind of like a circus-y element to it, so I'm super excited about that. I love Kate DiCamillo and I love circuses, so bringing the 2 together really can't go wrong, I don't think. This is about a boy, Peter Augustus Duchesne, which is an awesome name, who I believe his sister is missing, and he goes to a fortune teller who tells him that the answer to finding his sister is an elephant. That's a little vague, obviously, so he sets out to figure out what this all means, and of course he uncovers a lot of secrets and mysteries along the way, so it just sounds like a really fun time, and I'm hoping to get to this one because I'm very much in the mood for it. The next thing I have is another book that I picked up recently, and it's a fairly new release. I think it came out at the end of March, and that is The Girl in the Tower by Lisa Schroeder, with illustrations by Nicoletta Secoli, which was the reason that I was most excited to get this, because I love her art. She's one of my favorite artists, and as you can tell, is super talented, and these are absolutely gorgeous illustrations for the front cover, as well as there are black and white illustrations all throughout the inside, like that, and this, and that. So obviously it's a gorgeous book aesthetically, and hopefully the story is just as gorgeous. This is about a little girl named Violet who has always been locked in a tower with her mother by the evil Queen Bogdana, who has the kingdom under her spell. The queen has everything she wants except for one thing: beauty. Violet possesses this beauty. She also has a secret. Although she is very small, both her spirit and her heart are mighty. So I think this is just about Violet having to defeat the evil queen and save her mother and herself from their life of exile in the tower. So that sounds like a really fun story to me, and like I said, it's visually stunning, so I'm hoping that the story matches up to the illustrations. Next thing I have is another beautiful book and a fairly recent release, and that is Withering by Sea by Judith Rossell. And as you can tell, this cover is absolutely stunning as well. Very Victorian-esque illustrations, which I think this is set, yeah. High on a cliff above the gloomy Victorian town of Withering by Sea stands the Hotel Majestic. Inside the walls of the damp, dull hotel, 11-year-old orphan Stella Montgomery, another fabulous name, leads a miserable life with her 3 dreadful aunts. Stella dreams of adventuring on the Amazon River, or any place really, as long as it isn't this dreary town where nothing ever happens. Then one night, Stella sees something she shouldn't have. Soon she finds herself on the run from terrifying Professor Stark and his gang of thugs. But how can one young girl outwit an evil stage magician, much less rescue his poor, mistreated assistant? Perhaps with the help of a mysterious maestro and his musical cats, not to mention a lively girl named Gert. So that just sounds like a lovely, thrilling Victorian romp, and this is like exactly the kind of thing I'm in the mood for right now. I've been dying to get to this book ever since I got it, and I've been saving it for this readathon. So this is like a very high priority for me in the readathon, and hopefully I will enjoy it as much as I am anticipating that I will. And I'll show you some of the illustrations now. All of the illustrations, as well as the type set, are done in this kind of indigo purpley color, which is very beautiful. There are like little illustrations throughout as well of this cute little dog who looks rather angry, actually. And this is an illustration of the hotel set on the cliff. Another rather ominous looking illustration. So yes, this is a gorgeous book as well, and I'm super excited to get to it. The next thing I have is something that is a fairly new acquisition for me, but I've already hauled it. I got it a few months ago maybe, and that is Beyond the Laughing Sky by Michelle Cuevas, I believe, with illustrations by Julie Morstad, who is also another one of my favorite illustrators, and as you can tell, this is also a gorgeous, gorgeous cover. So this, I believe, is kind of a magical realism middle grade about a boy named Nashville who is born as a bird. Yeah, he was hatched from an egg his father found on the sidewalk and has grown into something not quite boy and not quite bird. So as you can see here, if you look closely, he has a beak in the illustration on the cover. And it says, despite the support of his loving family, Nashville wishes more than anything that he could join his fellow birds up in the sky. The trouble is, he hasn't grown wings, which must surely make his dream impossible. And yet, in this lyrical novel with the feel of a timeless fable, Michelle Cuevas manages to convince us that actually anything is possible. So that sounds super adorable, like it'll be an inspiring and uplifting read. So I am very excited to get to this one, and hopefully I'll be able to. This is also a short one, so hopefully I'll be able to fit it in. This next book is actually something that was on my TBR for this readathon last year, and I just didn't get to it, and that is Anyone But Ivy Pocket by Caleb Crisp. So this story is about Ivy Pocket, who apparently is the girl everyone's trying to avoid, because although she's very confident in her abilities, she's actually not very good at really anything. She kind of has a destructive touch and kind of messes up anything that she happens to take on. But apparently someone makes the mistake of asking her to deliver a very expensive locket to a little girl named Matilda Butterfield in time for her 12th birthday ball. So obviously things are going to go very wrong with that, because Ivy Pocket is not the girl for the job. But yeah, this just sounds super funny, and like it'll be a very entertaining read, and it is quite long, but hopefully it'll be pretty quick because it is a middle grade read, and it seems like it will be very enthralling, and the type is like very spaced out and the margins are kind of big. Hopefully I'll be able to get through this one this go around in this readathon, and this one is also illustrated by the author as well, I believe. And these are very striking black and white illustrations that I very much like. There's Ivy Pocket admiring herself in the mirror. This one looks really great, and another reason I want to pick this one up is because the sequel is coming out pretty soon, so hopefully if I enjoy this one, I can pick up the sequel and enjoy that one as well. Last thing I have is another fairly new release that I was very much anticipating, and that is William Joyce's Ollie's Odyssey. So this is kind of a massive thing, as you can tell here. William Joyce is the author of the, I almost said Guardians of the Galaxy, Guardians of Childhood series, which I read. You may remember I read the first book of Nicholas St. North in the Battle of the Nightmare King for Christmas this past December. And I love William Joyce's work. He's also the author of many picture books, including the fantastic flying books of Mr. Morris Lesmore, which is one of my favorite books of all time, and a book that I think every book lover should read. He's incredibly talented, both in writing and in illustrating. He did the illustrations for this as well as writing the story, and as you can tell, it's absolutely gorgeous. And it's full color illustrated throughout, and it has that like glossy paper, so that's great. Some of them are full pages like that, and then we have smaller illustrations throughout, like this, a little diagram of Ollie, our protagonist. We have kind of creepier stuff like this. So I'm super excited about this. I think it's going to be amazing. As far as the story goes, it's kind of a Toy Story-esque story. So I'm just going to read you the inside flap really quickly because I think it does a great job of explaining the story and also building excitement about it. And so it says, in the secret realm of toys there are many mysteries. There is the code of the toys, which is as ancient as childhood. There's also the magic of becoming a child's favorite, the highest honor in the toy world. Billy's mother made Ollie by hand. He was a toy who would matter. He becomes Billy's best friend, confidant, pal, and yes, Billy's favorite. But there are villains in the toy world, and Zozo, the Clown King, terrifying, is the most feared. He and his toy henchmen, the Creeps, have sworn to steal and imprison favorite toys until they forget their children and become forever lost. When Ollie is toy-napped, Billy must rescue his beloved favorite from Zozo's subterranean lair in the dark carnival place, past the park, through the woods, and into the night. Never has a journey of 10 blocks been more epic. So that does indeed sound like an epic story, and I'm super excited to get into it. This is also a high priority on my list for the readathon. So those are the 7 books that I am going to be choosing from to read for the readathon. Like I said, I will not get to all of them. Hopefully I'll get through 3 or 4 though. That's my goal. And yes, I will be doing a wrap-up to tell you about my progress once the readathon is over. If you want to join in, definitely go check out the Goodreads page as well as Patti and Akoss's videos. It's going to be a lot of fun. And if you are joining in and you have made a TBR video, please link it down below for me to go and see. I would love to watch it. And thank you again to Akoss and Patti for hosting this readathon. I'm super excited to participate once again. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So thank you all for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.